And now, you're tuned in to All Factors Considered. Here are your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of All Factors Considered. And first and foremost, before we handle any business, we do have to wish a very, very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, all the mama bears, man. None of this would be possible without you, because literally, that's where we come from. The originators, you know, Mother Earth, Mother all of that good stuff, man. And let me bring my co-host, AJ, in here, man. Happy Mother's Day, AJ. Shout out to your mom. Shout out to my moms. You know, happy Mother's Day out there. You got anything to say to all the mama bears out there?
Shout out, man. Like you said, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for moms. So yeah, big love. That I didn't know you were gonna say something. So I'm glad you did, Derick. That's what's up, man.
Of course, you have to shout out, man. Of course, this is coming out the day after Mother's Day, but nonetheless, the sentiment still remains. Now, AJ, we are on the other half of 50 episodes. On the other side, we broke through, and you know what that means, man. You know, we're gonna have to give the people what they want. We're gonna have to push it harder than ever, make the film study better than ever, because by the time we hit episode 100, you know, it's gonna have to be double as good as we already got it right now. So listen, man, here's to another 50 episodes and counting. But that's not what the people are here for today. We're here to break down UFC Vegas 26, the aftermath, man, all the craziness of this absolutely obliterated card. A card that when we looked at the cancellation bouts, right, there was 10 canceled bouts and there's only 9 bouts on the card. So when the cancellations outnumber the actual bouts, you know, something weird is going on. But nonetheless, man, let's do a little bit of record recap. This was polar opposites on this one, AJ, man. This is one of the very few times, right? I think this is like one of your first 1 in 5s, right? I got a 5. What's up?
I just had to say, Derick, sometimes in the realm of the fight game, some days you're on and some days you're off, and thank God you were on, because I was very miss. Yeah, I was off all night, brother. It was a hard one. It was a hard one, man. 1 in 5 is yeah, but it was crazy, because even I was looking on the whole, you know, the whole card stats, and the majority of it was the red side. They were all winning.
Yeah, man, A side handled business, but that's kind of what happens. And I was noticing that, you know, because I follow on the Twitter feed when things are going on and whatnot during the fights, and you see so many people just being like, all right, well, I missed all of my picks, you know what I mean, this week. So sometimes you get lucky, man. That's part of the game. Is literally you got a 50% chance of winning on every single matchup. But nonetheless, we still holding it strong here. I have my largest lead to date, but listen, man, anything could happen, and next week that could definitely change, man. So let's see, man. We keeping it competitive, man. But all right, AJ, you know what time it is. It's time to assess the damage. I'm going to start the clock, do all of that good stuff, man. So here we go, AJ. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to bring up the best collection of photos that I have found over the weekend. I just want you to give me very, very quick take, man. So I'm going to start off at the top, and we're going to start off with some Bellator action, man. So I'm going to describe to the people what we have here is MVP Michael Venom Page, a straight assassin, delivering a picture-perfect karate kick to the face of a very tough Derek Anderson. Give me your take, AJ.
Yeah, if you've ever seen an L-shaped nose, man, go check out Derek Anderson. It was one hell of a kick.
Yeah, and if you want a close-up, there it is right there. Look at that thing, man. That's rough, you know, and he kept fighting, and he was very, very game after this too. So I have to give all my respect to this man, because there's not too many competitors who will just get their nose cracked in half and then be like, you know what, man, it's okay. Keep punching me in my nose. It's fine, right? You don't got to give me a take on that one, man. So this one, I think this one would be very heartwarming for both of us, man. Anthony Rumble Johnson, he gets a 1-2 finish against Jose Augusto Azevedo in his Bellator debut, man. This was his first fight in 4 years, and he got the knockout, man. Give me your take.
Yeah, man, this was exciting. This was the old school. We wanted to see it. Rumble Johnson was a little upset at the end, but hey, that's neither here nor there. I was hyped.
Yep. And then this is another one too, man. It's been years in the making. We see on our left in this photo, Sergio Pettis, newly crowned bantamweight champion over there in Bellator. And then on the right, we got Anthony Pettis, the OG Showtime, former UFC champion. Now the Pettis brothers have an actual legacy, something more or less similar to like the Pitbull brothers, right? You know, we got an actual formation going on here. 2 champions, man. You'd love to see it. Give me your take.
Man, family, it runs in the genes, I guess, right, bro? And that family can scrap too.
Yeah, for sure, man. And this one, just give me something quick here. This is just where we're at right now in the light heavyweight world Grand Prix over there in Bellator. We're going to have Ryan Bader facing off against Corey Anderson, and Vadim Nemkov versus Anthony Rumble Johnson. The winner of these 2 next bouts are going to go on to either win $1 million or get embarrassed in front of thousands of people online. You know, give me your take, AJ.
I really like this format they have going, because, you know, like, all right, if you're positioned way down here in the bottom right, you know, one day you're gonna be fighting this dude. It makes it a little exciting, man. I really like this.
Exactly, and that's what Jose Augusto Azevedo said. He was like, "I hope, Rumble, that you win the championship and that we could run this fight back when you are the champion." So it gives you a little something to look up to. This one we're going to talk about on the Word on the Street portion of the show today, but I just wanted to give me a very quick take. What we have here is in 2001, Fabricio Verdum, Anthony Pettis, Eddie Alvarez, Demetrius Johnson, and Lyoto Machida are 0-5-1 in 2021 in promotions outside of the UFC. These are all former UFC champions. Give me your take, AJ.
Yeah, man. New game's taking over, I guess, right?
Yeah, something like that, man. And okay, now we hit a little bit of UFC action before we actually start breaking down these fights. These are just cool photos to me, man. Just give me your take on this one. We see a very bloody Jun Young Park, the Iron Turtle, mid-spit. He looks like a cobra or something, like he got a crazy Photoshop tongue, but that's a real-time picture in his victory against Stephane Nchukwu. Give me your take on that.
I didn't catch this pic before, but that's one hell of a turtle tongue, my man.
I love it, man. This dude's one of my favorite prospects coming up right now, fighting out of South Korea over there, our world top team, man. And this is the other end of that same matchup right here. This is Stephane Nchukwu, man. This is a tank. This is a beast. This is an animal who is bloodied up, looking very vulnerable. Give me your take, AJ.
Bro, Nchukwu is huge. That's what I got to say about homeboy.
Yeah, there we go. And then before we break this down, because this is a little bit of foreshadowing into what we're actually about to talk about next here, man, just give me your take on what you see here. This is a Gregor Gillespie just as delighted as can be, jubilation at its finest, and a face down Diego Ferreira after his victory, man. Give your take.
They say yin and yang shares the same circle, and that's exactly this, man. Ultimate like glory and so much exuberance, and then ultimate defeat, man. He's just crushed, and that's really what it was. Is Ferreira quit.
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into it, man. And as the UFC likes to say, this is the thrill and the agony. That's what happens after every single fight. Someone's thrilled, someone's agonized. But that's neither here nor there, man. Let's actually break these fights down, man. So I do have to start off by saying UFC Vegas 26, once again, decimated card. Let me talk about some methodologies here. We had 2 knockouts, 1 submission, and 6 decisions. 4 upsets on the card, though, which is actually really cool to see because I told you before, AJ, I was like, there's some of these odds that aren't really making sense to me. And this is one of those opportunities where we get to see when you watch enough fights, when you have enough film study, you come to realize the odds makers aren't always right, which is a given, right? But on top of that, people buy into the hype, right? There's a couple of these fighters where it's just like the what have you done for me lately culture of the fight game has definitely, I would say it's influenced some people in how the betting, odds makers went about their business. Nonetheless, our 4 upsets were Alex Morono, Neil Magny, Phil Hawes, and Michael Trezano, man. Haven't heard of that guy in a couple years. And fight of the night, Diego Ferreira versus Gregor Gillespie. Like I said, we'll talk about that. And then lastly, Alex Morono and Carlston Harris both got performance of the night bonuses. And I do have to say before we start, AJ, Gregor Gillespie, he decided to fight Diego Ferreira, even though he missed weight by like 5 pounds, something absolutely ridiculous. So since Ferreira was ineligible for a bonus, Gregor Gillespie got a $100,000 bonus to himself. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. But okay, let's talk about some fights, AJ. Let's start off at the top. Let's start off with Michelle Waterson's huge loss, you know what I mean? And Marina Rodriguez's huge win. This was a very close fight, though, man. This was something where the numbers don't necessarily represent it as being close. When you actually looked at it, though, I think this was one of Marina Rodriguez's toughest fights to date, in all honesty, man. So just give me your take off the bat, man. What did you see out of that matchup, man? Who impressed you the most? Obviously, Rodriguez got the win, but who impressed you the most?
It was Rodriguez, man. She looked big. That was the thing, man. Rodriguez, she made it very evident the importance of cutting weight. Like, bro, she was stacked compared to Waterson, and not only just like height and strength wise, or not only just strength and muscle wise, but also height. She looked like she was fighting a younger child in there, man. It was crazy. And not only that, but Rodriguez was putting on this bully of a pace, and the clinch game was impressive, man. She really showed a lot of technique and a lot of like prowess, man. It was very impressive to me to watch Rodriguez fight because she was they both Waterson. I mean, and I already knew Waterson how great she was. So it was nice to see that the rest of the talent is catching up because they both fought a very patient, very calculated game. Like you said, very back and forth. And it was a very, very fun match to watch. But man, like I said, Rodriguez just ran away with it. She was a bully. She hit hard. That clinch game was impressive, man. But it was a good fight. I was really impressed overall. What'd you take away?
Well, I first have to just give a little bit of context, right, because we didn't cover it. So this fight took place at 125 pounds, even though these are both strawweights, right? So it has strawweight implications, though it took place at 125 pounds. And with that being said, yeah, Rodriguez was huge in there, man. Probably, I mean, if she weighed in at 125, I couldn't imagine what she was walking around at, man. In the cage, probably like 130, 140, something, you know, up there. Big, man. But yeah, man, I thought Rodriguez did what she needed to do. I thought that Waterson failed to implement the game plan that we all expected her to implement, which was the grappling, right? She finally got the takedown, but it came in round 4, so it was a little too late. But if you saw Rodriguez's face after the fight, man, dude, she looked, ooh, it was rough. Like, those karate hottie kicks were landing, man. And that's what you saw time and time again, is that Rodriguez just walking forward, pressure. And what does Michelle Waterson do? She counters like a karate striker does, like the best of them do. She lost the clinch, right? She lost the clinch opportunities, which I thought she'd have a little more success in. But nonetheless, man, Rodriguez is long and she is dangerous. So in terms of total strikes, Rodriguez outlanded Waterson 144 to 100, which is pretty telling. But Rodriguez threw almost 100 more strikes than Waterson did, which goes to show output was a little bit lacking. However, 1 for 5 on takedowns for Michelle Waterson. So this tells me, AJ, that Marina Rodriguez has realized, all right, dude, there's really one way these people can get me out of there, and that's through the grappling, through the takedown. I cannot allow this to happen anymore. So that's pretty good takedown defense, man. I like to see the improvement. However, when she got taken down in the 4th round, I'm pretty sure she got controlled for almost 4 minutes. So basically the entire round, man. So that's also not what you want to see, but that's the same exact game plan Amanda Hebos had on her, right? Do you think that Marina Rodriguez can propel forward in this division? Because now she's facing up a top 6 in plus, right? We're going to talk about that in the matchmaking. But do you think that she could propel herself through those top 6 fighters without a little more increased grappling, acumen? What do you think?
No, man, it's I like that was the one thing where you said, Michelle Waterson, we expected her to take her down a lot, and she tried. She definitely tried 1 through 4, but man, yeah, Rodriguez, she definitely needs to get better on the ground, because it was like you said, once she got on the ground, once Waterson had on the ground, she was just absolutely controlled, and that's really is the game plan for everyone else going forward. So I think she needs to she's gotten better, she's made leaps and bounds improvements, but in order to take on the 1 through 5, she's gonna have to have that solid, well-rounded game.
I absolutely agree, man. But what something that was very nice to see is that she went all 5 rounds, right? She didn't knock her out. So that's just that in-cage experience. That's what you need against these high-level opponents. Because Michelle Waterson, Joanna Jędrzejczyk couldn't finish her, right? Carla Esparza couldn't finish her. Angela Hill couldn't finish her. That's really, really telling, because Marina Rodriguez also couldn't finish her. So what does that say about Michelle Waterson, man? Like I said, she's a dog. She's tough, dude. She's not going to just get out of there very, very quickly. And like you said, seeing each fighter's face after that was very, very telling. But yeah, unless you got anything else on that one, man, it was just a very, very solid, all around performance for Marina Rodriguez.
Fight, man. Yeah, I was very impressed. I was actually glad you noted the karate striking kicks, because they were precise, man. Rodriguez was eating some, but that was really all I had. The biggest takeaway from Waterson was her kicks were precise. It was beautiful for a karate technician.
Absolutely, man. And it just goes to show too, man, that you cannot discount karate. Because how many people, once again, oh, dude, you practice karate, you practice kung fu. It's like, bro, don't get pieced up, homie. Come on. Like I said, we always talk about it though, right? Karate is built for self-defense in the streets, man. That's the thing that people don't understand. They think it's just some Cobra Kai in the dojo, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, come on, man. Yeah, exactly, something like that, right? But let's move on to this next one, man. Very, very disappointing if you're a, New Mexico native, right? If you repping Jackson Winks, even though he's not a part of that anymore. Really, really tough to see Donald Cerrone lose the way that he did against Alex, the Great White Morono. I got to put a little more respect on his name, even though, like I said, I got respect for my man, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was just going to come out and start Cerrone like that, man. So Cowboy obviously was unmotivated for this fight, right? Even though he tried to play it off. If you watch his pre-fight interviews, man, he was just like, dude, this fight doesn't make sense. I don't even have any animosity towards this guy, so I'm going to have to take out my animosity towards Diego Sanchez on this kid, you know what I mean? I feel bad for him. Malicious intent. When we got in there, did you see any malicious intent from Cowboy Cerrone?
Not a bit, man. Like the only thing I really noted about this fight is Morono looked more like young Cerrone, or like what Cerrone was planning on coming out than Cerrone did. And Cerrone was out there trying to be Rod Tang, man. But there's only one iron chin. It's not going to happen. You sit there flat-footed, ready to get hit. Morono proved what happens, bro. It's there's only one iron chin out there.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where when I watch Alex Morono, I don't feel that he can progress and advance with this type of fighting style, the one that he put on against Cerrone, right? Because that was the lack of non-technical fighting, or that was the definition of non-technical fighting, right? When he hit Cerrone with the big one that really stunned Cerrone, bro, it was a straight armed like I was like, yo, like I get it, you're trying to like swing for the fences. But come on, bro. Like, you got to just give me a crispy 1-2. I'm sure you could hit him with that, too. Like, everything doesn't have to be a super haymaker, right? Nonetheless, it got the job done. He TKO'd Cerrone without even having to knock him down. Cerrone just started shelling up and being like, all right, man, I don't know what we're doing here. And like he said, Cerrone said it in his post-fight interview, man. He was all like, man, I don't feel like I'm done. I'm not even thinking about retiring, but, like, how I feel and how I'm performing are two different things, and it sucks that it has to be that way. I don't want to get cut by Dana White, but now he is officially 0-5 with 1 no contest in his last 6 outings. So it's like, how do you stay around if you're not a bona fide legend? That's really the only reason why he's still around, right?
I mean, thank God he's a businessman, you know, he's about the work. So yeah. Dana White at least knows that. That's the one pro, is he'll answer the phone when Dana calls. But if it was anyone else, yeah, that chopping blocks, you're on it.
Yeah, I agree, man. But we do have to just say, because this was a performance of the night win for Alex Morono. This is his 8th UFC victory. He has a very balanced methodology, man. 6 TKOs, or 6 knockouts, 6 submissions, and 6 decision wins, man. So he's a BJJ black belt. He's a Taekwondo black belt. And then if he has to go on the points, he will go on the points, man. But it was a very, very impressive outing from Alex Morono. Lasted only just a couple minutes, man. You know what I mean? It didn't really give us much to talk about on that one. But it's okay, man. This next one, though, is really, really big news, man. This is Neil Magny. And I said it, man. I was like, I don't understand how people are discounting the man like this, but he faced off against Geoff Neal in what was also a very, very tough 3-round fight. It went the distance, man. And Geoff Neal landed some shots, but Neil Magny, like I said, cardio machine. He did what Michael Chiesa does to everybody else, man. He just puts a pace on you and he weaponizes it, man. And it's just, it's incredible. It's very Gregor Gillespie-like, which we'll talk about in a second. But 18th UFC victory. He outstruck Geoff Neal 115-56, man. Talk about the definition of accumulative damage. That was Max Holloway style. If you had to go strike for strike in terms of accumulative damage, yes, they're in 2 different weight classes. Who is a better, I'm just gonna punch you until you just can't move no more, Max Holloway or Neil Magny?
Wow, that was it. I would always say blessed Holloway for sure, but Magny made a hell of an argument for it last night, man. He was putting on. He literally put on a clinic. Like, if you want to watch how to fight somebody who's just gonna walk you down and box you, man, that Magny laid out the game plan, bro. It was a very good fight. And like you said, just weaponize that pace. It was impressive.
What's interesting, though, is that, believe it or not, so Geoff Neal, he did actually get a takedown on Neil Magny, and he controlled Magny for longer than Magny controlled him, which is not what I was expecting whatsoever. Geoff Neal can wrestle, don't get me wrong, but it's also important that way, I guess we note this, right? I talked about how there's going to be these camp battles, right? These great camps between the Fortis MMAs, the Elevation Fight teams, all these different, different camps, right? Saif Saud and Fortis MMA, unfortunately, they went 1-2 here at UFC Vegas 26, man. It was a rough outing for Diego Ferreira, which we'll talk about next, but also Geoff Neal. All these dudes training out of Texas, man. Listen, I want to ask you this. This is not necessarily related to, Neil Magny versus Geoff Neal, but how much do you think these actual camp competitions are factored into these fights, man? Because we did see when it was Eric Nixick versus James Krause, right? This was TJ Brown versus Kai Kamaka. When we saw that, we saw an Eric Nixick kind of be a little, how would you say? Or Eric Nixick is at Extreme Couture, actually. What did I just say? I don't know what I said. Anyways, he was basically just gave him a little bit of disrespect, right? Didn't want to shake hands, didn't want to be like, good fight, all that good stuff. I just want to know, what do you think in terms of like Saif Saud over here? And I don't know who was in Magny's corner at Elevation Fight Team, but nonetheless, do you think that they're sitting here like, dude, I have to fucking beat this guy, bro? Like, I can't, you got to go out there, bro. Neil, you need to do this. Geoff Neal, like that type of stuff, man. Because, Saif Saud, he's screaming the entire time. Give me your take. What do you think?
I definitely think so. I 100% think that they're going back to their camps and they're thinking like, yo, all right, next card, we're fighting 3 of those dudes this time. Like, bro, we got to go out. Because at the end of the day, you are, as much as the coach is kind of back in the shadow, he's still invested, he's still putting his world and his life into it. So, there's something a little back at the camp, like, all right, guys, we're fighting these guys again. It's almost like I was thinking like a team aspect, like every time, like, all right, we're showing up every season. We got to play these guys twice. We're always doing something. Like, there's just that little bit of it adds a little bit of show to it, and it brings a little bit more gym camaraderie. So I'd imagine the coaches as well are playing off of it. If you guys can create a bad guy out there, you're going to create more good guys at the home base. It's going to be better for the overall team advantage. So I would hope to think they're doing that. And I would imagine they are.
Yeah, there's always going to be some of that stuff going on in there. But I just want to ask you before we move on to the next one, AJ, what does this mean to you? I'm going to say the stat really quickly, right? Neil Magny, in terms of his striking, where he went head, body, legs, right? He went 34 strikes to the head out of 144, 18 out of 26 to the body, and 3 out of 4 to the legs. Now, Geoff Neal, 30 of 67 to the head, 5 of 6 to the body, and no leg strikes whatsoever. What does that mean to you?
I was expecting a little more balance out of Magny, to be completely honest with you. But what that showed me really is that a more varied attack leaves your partner guessing a little bit more, because with how we were seeing Neil Magny perform, that was the biggest thing is Geoff Neal was having to guess what was happening instead of, like you said, where Geoff Neal threw the majority of the shots to the head. All Neil Magny had to worry about was up here and a little bit to the body. Two spots instead of 3. So a more varied attack to me is going to be obviously a little more efficient, or I guess less efficient, but more less practical to take care of. So that's really all it means to me, man, is he's actually doing, putting the work in to do multiple areas.
No, absolutely, man. And that was another thing, too, that is really interesting is when you see that kind of cumulative damage style from both, not really both sides, but from Magny at least, right? You kind of do have to just pop at the head, because you're throwing stuff where you don't always think it's going to land, right? And there's not actually a problem with that. It's just more of like, all right, man, I'm just going to piece you up, give you something to think about, and then I'm going to mix in the takedown shot, or then I'm going to mix in this or that, or whatever the case may be. But impressive performance by Neil Magny. That's really what we have to say about this. Like I said, odds makers, put some respect. He's almost always an underdog. He almost always wins the fight when he is the underdog. And at the end of the day, man, like I said, it's his 18th UFC victory, man. Like that's a lot of wins in the UFC. Now, let's move on to this next one. AJ, can I ask you this? Was I right? Sometimes I feel bad when I disrespect like a bout on the card, right? But this one truly did not make sense. I was like, why is Maurice Green versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima? Why is this in the middle of the card, right? You got Gregor Gillespie versus Diego Ferreira, which was literally the fight of the night before this. You were supposed to have Angela Hill versus Amanda Hebos, and folks, we didn't mention this, but yeah, that bout got canceled due to Hebos testing positive for COVID. Got replaced by Phil Hawes versus Kyle Dawkins, but nonetheless, this was a snooze fest, dude. This was rough. So heavyweight bout, Maurice Green loses to Marcos Rogerio de Lima, who is now 5-0 after a loss in his UFC tenure. Very impressive. Dude, there was nothing here, man. No knockdowns. It was 166 total strikes for de Lima, who, at the end of the day, it was lay and pray basically the entire fight. No big knockout shot, nothing like that. 14 minutes and 6 seconds of control time, man. That's almost 15 minutes, literally. You controlled him for 14 of 15 minutes, which is absolutely incredible. I have very little to say about this other than Jackson Winks, Maurice Green, man. He's probably going back home and very, very disappointed, man. Jackson Wink, also 0-2 on this card, right? Tough one for New Mexico. Give me your take on this one, man. What does Maurice Green need to do to realize his potential?
It's hard, man. I don't know, because you think he went in there with a good game plan, but like you said, he got controlled. And he literally could do nothing against Rogerio de Lima, man. Like, no matter what he tried to do, like, he literally didn't have any strength, didn't have any pop on his shots. He looked like he was getting hurt when he was getting tagged. I'm glad you didn't want to be disrespectful for this one, Derek, because I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Like that, in the fight game, that's almost the most disrespect, bro. I was literally, I was laying back on my chair and like realized I was closing my eyes. I was like, oh my God, I'm falling asleep during a fight. This is really lay and pray, hump fest all day. It was not impressive at all. And I guess what Green needs to do, man, maybe, I was going to say, go out there and street fight, like get out there and learn some fucking dog in you. Like, I don't know, man. Cause he looked soft. He looked very soft out there. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. Once he got controlled, he was. And the weird thing is he's so long to get his legs on, or to get his feet on people's hips, like they're saying, like, all right, what you need to do is put feet on hips, push out, roll. He just couldn't, man. He's just not that flexible. It was weird to see the long legs not be able to do that, because usually long limbs are an advantage in the grappling game. And it was was a rough outing for Green. It was a rough outing for him for sure.
I definitely agree. Something I like to think about is maybe a sports psychologist or something like that, man. Go get your mental right a little bit. No, like not even out of disrespect.
No, that's probably better than go out there and street fight to find a dog in you. But yeah, I agree. That's probably way better.
Yeah, man. Just go see what we can do here, because everyone talks about is like the potential that he has in the gym, what he shows in the gym, and as opposed to like even what he talks about, right? I think it was Daniel Cormier. He was criticizing pretty tough, but he was like, bro, you went and talked all of this mess, and this is what you gave us on fight night. Like that's just not what you want to see, and no one's going to be taking it harder than him. But ultimately, De Lima, he wins 30-26 times 2 and 30-27 on the card, man. So yeah, it was just pure domination for Rogerio De Lima. Now the fight of the night, man. Now we talk about Diego Ferreira versus Gregor Gillespie, man. Gillespie, this was his first fight in a couple of years, man. Like this dude had to really grind. He had to put on a pace, right? We forgot Gregor Gillespie. This is a dude who averages about 7 takedowns per fight. He didn't get 7 today, man. He got 4 out of 8 though, which is still pretty impressive against a fantastic Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner like Diego Ferreira, an individual who, when we're talking about sprawls, when we're talking about what we just saw him do with Beneil Dariush, man, very, very dangerous on the ground. However, he had almost nothing for Gregor Gillespie, man. 0 submission attempts, nothing like that, man. Give me your take, AJ. What'd you think, man? This was a barn burner of a fight.
This was a barn burner of a fight, Derek. This was impressive, man. And even what was crazy to me, that round 1 pace that they were putting out, I was like, these boys are going to be tired, because that was crazy, bro. They're literally like, Ferreira showed some of the most impressive takedown defense I've seen, especially against how good Gregor Gillespie is. And it wasn't only the first takedown. He literally would defend so Gregor Gillespie would shoot and then shoot again right after. And he was still defending and taking down and like rolling with it. And he was very impressive up and down fight. Gregor, like I said, he was relentless, but he was leaving himself a little bit open. And then he was able to capitalize on that and literally buckle down in the second round, focused in, man. And he started just putting it on him, man. He was, Gregor looked out a little stiff in that second round, but once he got into it, man, it was good. It was a good fight, bro. I was very impressed, and it was good to see somebody come back, man. Like you said, we haven't seen Gregor in a while, and he was still looking young. He was still looking good. Not much has changed, really.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that was the beautiful part, right? Is that people forgot. I told you, I was like, he's only ranked number 14 due to inactivity. That's the only way we can justify this, because this dude he's a grinder, man. And when I talk about now the sun, it's all blocking up my Dan Gable poster, man. But that's competitor supreme, man. That's what we saw as a dude who said I'm telling you, man. In terms of like wrestling, like collegiate wrestling, things of that nature, he was up there with the Jordan Burroughs of the world. Like this dude is a beast wrestler who, like he had said, he was all like, yeah, man. After round 1, I was tired, and everybody was saying that I was tired and I was like giving up or whatever the case may be. And he was like, there's a difference between being like out of shape and being tired. And he says, I knew if I was tired, I couldn't even imagine how Ferreira was feeling. And that's what we saw, because even though he didn't have to cut as much weight, there's probably a little detriment to Diego Ferreira, right? Not having to cut the weight. So he ends up being in more or less of a spot where, like he just couldn't hang for, 3-4 rounds. Gregor Gillespie said it best. He's like, I made him quit, man. That's what I do. I break these dudes. And I mean, hey, man, that's a scary dude. And when we talk matchmaking here in a second, man, definitely, I got somebody lined up for him, man. You talk about breaking people, breaking wills, man. Do you think that Gregor Gillespie, just out of curiosity here, man, do you think he's a future lightweight champion?
I think he can be. If he's able to weaponize that pace like a GSP did, yeah, I definitely think he can be, because that's one of the hardest things, man, when you continuously get taken down again and again and again, no matter how many times you get up, he's still there coming at you, eating all the knees you can throw at him, and he's just continuously like that pressure. It's rough, man. And going back to the fight, I think Gillespie knew that he could break Ferreira because Ferreira missed the weight. Those last little bit of pounds, those last 3 to 5 pounds are always the hardest. And he knew, like, all right, this dude already quit on himself in the weight cut. I'm gonna make him quit in the ring as well. And that was just, it was the game plan that Gregor Gillespie was able to implement going forward with pace and everything else. I think is the champ game plan. That's what you need to do. That's what Habib did. That's what GSP does. That's what all the greats do, is weaponize that pace, as well as have the technical prowess to actually win out there too. So maybe, yeah, I would love to see it. I mean, it's good to see a diversity in the top rankings too. It gives a little more fight to the game. What do you think?
Well, I think that he can if he keeps like doing what he's doing, man. That's the thing. It's just scary to see. Like, this is an individual who got a little bit of ring rust. This is a dude who we haven't seen in a while, right? So let's see him really active. You know, he has one slip up. He get knocked out by Kevin Lee in the first round. Other than that, he's starching everybody. There's nobody that could really hang with this dude. There's nobody that's shown if the fight goes over a round. I mean, come on, man. He says, the game plan is I'm just going to keep taking you down. There's nothing you can do about it. Either you can try to stop me from advancing position, doing whatever, but his sprawls are sick, everything, man. Listen, he showcased a very indomitable will, and that goes to show why he earned that $100,000 bonus with that fight of the night right there, man. So I don't got much else to say on that one, but watch out for Gregor Gillespie, man. So let's knock out this last card and let's do some matchmaking, AJ. Phil Hawes versus Kyle Dawkins, man. This was a short notice fight. This was a fight where Phil Hawes was already double booked. We're not matchmaking for him because he's already scheduled to fight Duran Win on like July 17th or something like that, man. So first off, for Kyle Dawkins, you got to feel a little disrespected because you're like, damn, they double booked this dude. They think he's just going to get past me. They think I'm not going to break his face and not allow him to be able to fight in a couple months. And what happens? Kyle Dawkins, he gets it put on him by the wrestler in Phil Hawes. People forget Phil Hawes is a very legitimate wrestler, right? Give me your take on this one, man. I thought Dawkins could do a little bit more in terms of the striking with that reach and in terms of the submission game, but he had Phil Hawes locked up in more or less of a submission for a second, man, but that kind of fell apart, and he got hurt a couple times by Kyle Dawkins, man. So give me your take.
Yeah, no, it was this was a hard one for me. You know, I'm a Dawkins fan. So, but what I was noticing is that Phil Hawes was just hurting Kyle Dawkins, and no matter how much Kyle wanted to like go forward and do the, use the length, use the stuff, every time he'd get touched up, man, he'd get hurt, and it was rough to watch as a Dawkins fan.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. And I really don't have much to say on this one, but Phil Hawes showed very improved cardio, striking. He showed off some submission defense. I really thought he'd just mess around and get subbed out really quickly, man. But it goes to show, man, you sit there and you stay ready and you answer the phone when the UFC calls, man. It can be really scary because he's just getting that experience he needs to really make a strong push up in this middleweight division. He keeps talking about how all of these fights that he's taking are just preparing him to fight Israel Adesanya. You know what I mean? I don't know if Phil Hawes is going to get there that quickly, but I like the aspirations, man. I definitely like the aspirations. And AJ, man, before we move on, let me just say a couple things for our prelim, prelim rundown, you know what I mean, really quickly. I just want to say that what we have right here is Michael Trizano. I talked about him earlier. He pulled off the biggest upset on the card, which is why you need to watch the prelims. He faced a dude who was this was one of my sleeper fights, Ludovic Klein versus Michael Trizano. Michael Trizano is a former Tough 27 lightweight winner, right? This is a bigger man, moved down to featherweight. And like I said, man, very, very impressive win against Ludovic Klein, who is now 17-3. He was 17-2 going into this fight, and he's arguably one of the best prospects coming out of Europe right there. So that was a huge win for Trizano. And then lastly, Carlston Harris. This is one of your sleepers, AJ. He becomes the 19th UFC fighter to win via anaconda choke in his UFC debut against Christian Aguilera, man. He's also the first Guyanese fighter in UFC history, man. So he pulled off a lot of record-breaking stuff right there. And ultimately, man, prelims. We only got 3 of them on this card, literally only 3 prelims fight, but they all turned out to be pretty damn good, man. Especially the Junyoung Park versus Stephon Nchukwi, which Junyoung Park, he's now on a 3-fight win streak, now 3-1 in his UFC tenure, and he served Stephon Dadon Nchukwi his first professional loss. So there's that, man. AJ, let's move on to, you know what I mean, what we do best, man. Keep it pushing. A little bit of matchmaking here. All right. So let's run through these pretty quickly. AJ, Marina Rodriguez. There's not much room for her to go, man. The top 5 in the strawweight division is pretty locked up right now. You know what I mean? She can't move past number 4 in Carla Esparza since she already lost to her. And number 5, Mackenzie Dern is on a real hot streak. So unfortunately, AJ, I couldn't see it in me to, move Marina Rodriguez up at all. I couldn't see it in me personally. Do you? Do you move her up anywhere?
Nah, I mean, it was a very hard, like you said, everything else was locked up. So not really. I mean, I was going out of the since they fought in the 125, I was going just somewhere there because she looked big. I think she can fight there, but nah, man. I mean, she was kind of locked up. Like, we've been calling for it forever, and this is just me like wanting to see this fight personally. Not necessarily it's gonna happen or that like it should happen, but Tatiana Suarez versus Marina Rodriguez would be a banger, man. That'd be an exciting. But really, he said top 5 is locked up, so it's hard to make.
Yeah, it's tough, and I keep calling for Tatiana Suarez too, but she's injured, man. So it's like, she's planning on making a potential comeback maybe this summer or something like that, but until she makes it official, it's hard to even talk about her in this sense, right? Because I still have her in my rankings personally, but I believe the UFC
forgot she was injured.
Yeah, the UFC pulled her from the rankings, man, so it's tough. But I'm going to go Marina Rodriguez. I think that a perfect matchup right now. She's going to be fighting behind her a little bit, but number 8th ranked Claudia Gadelha, man. I think that's going to be a really tough test for Rodriguez. I think it's going to be a different look that we don't normally see out of, you know what I mean? Claudia Gadelha, who could wrestle you, she could strike, she's a big powerhouse, man. There's a lot of ways this fight can go, and I think it'll be a tougher test than Michelle Waterson was for Marina Rodriguez simply because of the power discrepancy. You can't be the only person who brings power to the fight. You got to be fighting somebody else who's a real dog too. So, there's that one, man. Let's move on to Alex Morono, the great white, man. He's on a 1-fight win streak, 19-7 in his career now, and I had him at ranked around 38, right? That's the Tapology Worldwide rankings. I think now he moves up to about maybe 33 because he lost to Chaos Williams in his last 5, and Chaos Williams is about like 32 or something like that, so you can't move him past him technically, and Cerrone was ranked number 44, so it's not like he was fighting ahead. It's a big win, a good notch on his belt, man, but it doesn't really do much for him in the division, especially because Cerrone is like a lightweight, right? So give me your take. Who do you think? I got one name that's very popular. We bring him up all the time, and I hope it's not the one you got, but who do you think, AJ?
It might be. Mine's a little left field. I mean, he's in the media. I don't know if we necessarily talk about him a lot, but Mike Perry. I think that'd be a good fight. He's coming down. Morono's on the way up. It's a good fight. They're both scrappers. It'd be fun. Who you got?
Well, I just wanted to give Morono somebody who's on a win streak, right? Because that's the last thing you want. I want to fight a dude who's on some big losing streak like a Mike Perry. I think it'd be another big name. And that's sometimes in this sport, right? It's the name that kind of counts more than their actual ranking. But if we're talking about rankings, man, number 28, Michel Domolidor Paeta, man. Come on, we call for him all the time, but this would be a fun matchup, man, because you're going to have a dude who is going to be able to catch that aggressive style of Morono, be able to catch him with those crazy capoeira style, you know what I mean, strikes that Paeta loves to use, and Paeta is a master of movement. He loves to move. Cerrone, what did he do? He walked forward and he didn't move his head, so he got TKO'd. Like, that's just, but we know that about Cerrone. He gets dropped by the 2 all the time. That's just not dropped, but he gets stopped by the 2 all the time. So that's who I got. How does that sound to you, AJ? That sounds like a good matchup, yeah?
That sounds fun. Yeah. I mean, Mike Perry's more of the same thing, walk you down, kind of try and bully you up, whereas Pereira will just piece you up from anywhere. And then you try to run in on this dude, and he's going to hit you with a flying knee. Sounds like a fun fight. Yeah,
and he's on a 2-fight win streak, and I just think it'll be a good litmus test to see where Alex Morono truly is in this division, because he doesn't have Cerrone is the most notable win under his belt right now. So Neil Magny, man, this is another tough one, because it's like, where do you go if you're Neil Magny, man? He was coming into this fight ranked number 9. I got him at about number 7 because you can't go past Chiesa. Chiesa literally just beat you. So I think that the thing that makes the most sense, because the division is locked up right now, the UFC has Michael Chiesa and Vicente Luque both ranked number 6 right now. So I say they have to fight, and they got to duke it out. And that'll open things up a little bit more, because as it stands right now, I got the winner of number 8 ranked Damian Maia versus number 12 ranked Bilal Muhammad as a next matchup for Neil Magny potentially. I think Muhammad versus Magny would be a great matchup in terms of 2 dudes weaponizing pace against each other, can both wrestle, can both strike, and that's happening at UFC 263 on June 12th. So that's my matchup, AJ. Who do you got?
I mean, I was going with somebody you already said, man, Vicente Luque, because I was just trying to not have all the planets line up with all the extra matchmaking. I think since Chiesa already beat Magny, why not let Magny and Vicente Luque fight that? And if the winner of that then can fight Chiesa, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that whole, like you said, that whole little triangle they got going right there is kind of what needs to happen. Personally, I think Magny's a hard fight for Luque, but we've seen Luque be an absolute killer lately. So I'm excited for it either way.
Yeah, I actually had Luque originally. That was my first pick. I was all like, all right, man, we're going to go Luque. But then I was like, does it make sense to give him Luque when Chiesa, I mean, that's Chiesa's spot right there, number 6. Like, why would you go forward above Chiesa if he just literally starched you for 5 rounds? You know what I mean? It wasn't even close. So, I mean, I guess that's why. And AJ just turned me down on the phone just a little bit, man. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. But this next one, man, I don't know what the hell to do with this one, man. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, 1-fight win streak. He's 18-7, in his MMA career now. I got a big name for him, AJ, and I don't know if you would even agree with this, but I think this would be fun because both of these dudes could wrestle, both of these dudes could knock each other's head off, and listen, both of them have kind of decent performances in their last outings, and the person I got is number 22 ranked Alexander Romanov, man. After Romanov had that really, I don't know what you even want to call that last performance, I think he's going to need a get right fight, and I think that this is a good spot for both of these dudes. What do you think?
I mean, isn't Romanov, am I wrong? Is he the one that finished him with an arm choke?
Oh, did that just, oh, wow. Yeah, that did. I don't even know how I overlooked that. He literally just lost to Romanov 2 fights ago. So I take that back. I guess I got nothing. AJ, who do you got?
Because I was going to, my mind was, I was like, man, I might be messing this up. I had another one that's still kind of on the rise. Same sort of aspect. He's a banger. He knows how to wrestle as well on the come up. And since Rogerio de Lima's been an old school dog for a while, Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall will make for a good fight. Like I said, he's on the come up. That'd be a young gun fighting an old dude again. It'd be fun. What do you think?
No, I like that. Obviously, I was a little misplaced with this Romanov pick right there, but I do think that Tom Aspinall is going to have to be careful for that wrestling, man, because, I mean, yeah, he could submit and do stuff too, but so can Rogerio de Lima, and both of these dudes could crack, man. So I think Tom Aspinall, this is my prediction, folks. So if I have to come back to this, if we have to go all the way back to the archives one day, I think Tom Aspinall is a future heavyweight champion. I truly do. So this is going to be a good test because you got to bring it all. You can't just be able to strike. You got to be able to wrestle, right? Francis Ngannou, what stopped him from being able to be the champion? He couldn't grapple. Oh, well, guess what? He went over to Extreme Couture with Eric Nixick and said, no, we're shoring that thing up, pal. So, nice, man. All right, Gregor Gillespie, man. Who do you got for Gregor Gillespie? 155 pounds. Lightweight division is the toughest division in the world. He was at number 14th before. I got him up to number 10, man. I think that he makes a big jump after this win, even though Fajardo, I believe, was like number 12 or something like that. But huge win. I got a big name, so who do you think?
Yeah, this is a huge win for Gillespie, and more so in the fact that he kind of solidified who he is as a fighter to the general fandom. And I think he either needs to fight somebody who as well can weaponize that pace, or somebody who's a little longer striker to see how he handles that sort of matchup. But personally, I'd like to see him fight Islam Makhachev. Like Makhachev, yeah, is that you're going with too?
Yep.
Man, that would be a dog of a fight right there. Now, let's say that doesn't happen. I think Dan Hooker would be another good fight, like I said. But I want to see that Makhachev fight, man. That'd be a crazy one.
Dan Hooker is saying, don't put me up against a wrestler. I'm tired of these fucking wrestlers, bro. I just got my head taken off by one. I don't want another one. But I love that Islam Makhachev fight, man, because Makhachev, who does he just beat in his last fight? Drew Dober, right? And everyone's like, oh, huge win. Gregor Gillespie, that's like Drew Dober on steroids right there, bro. That's like, come on, what are we talking about here? So I truly believe that this would be the biggest test of both of these fighters' career at this stage in the game right now, man. And Gregor Gillespie, he's coming for it, man. He says, I'm not just the best fisherman in the world, man, but I'm ready to be the best lightweight in the world. Conor McGregor's over there disputing it. He's like, I am fishing, bro. What are you talking about? You don't know how to fish. I just love that this dude it doesn't matter what it is. You can be like, I'm the best bowler. He'd be like, I am bowling. I know how to bowl. I can bowl better than you, bro. But like, hey, man, listen, that's what we need these cats around for, a little bit of entertainment, man. So lastly, before we move on to the word of the street, man, Phil Hawes, like I said, no matchmaking. He's already going for Duran win, so that takes care of that very, very easy, man. But I do want to ask you, just if, let's say he pulls off a big win against Duran win, which would be a very, very big test, man. I really am a big fan of Duran win and his wrestling prowess, man. I just want to know, where do you think Phil Hawes goes, man? He's over here talking about title aspirations and things of this nature, and I'm trying to look at his game and really understand, like, how far can this man go? He's not ranked. He's about number 39 going into this fight. I got him at about number 33 now. Let's give it 2 years, right? 2 solid years of development, 2 solid years of taking these fights, short notice, whatever the case may be. What is the pinnacle of Phil Hawes, Megatron Phil Hawes, what's the pinnacle of his career, in your opinion, AJ?
I mean, seeing where he goes, because he's in the 185, man. If he continues, one of the biggest holes in his game that we were talking about before was his gas tank, Yeah. And he showed up to his last fight in a sports car with a gas tank of a Mack truck. So he had a lot, like he was looking good in the 3rd round. I do think he can get at least, I don't know, the 185-pound class. If in the next 2 years, if Izzy doesn't just continuously keep reigning, we're not going to see too much shuffle up. So I definitely think he can get to the top 5. But I think it's going to, like you said, take a long while, take a couple years of developmental work. And let's say I was working out, all right, he's fighting Duran win next, just got a big win against a young up and comer in Dawkins. I say throw him to somebody who's on a little bit of a almost a meteoric rise just to get Haas some kind of a little bit more shine, a little bit name recognition, but throw him up against Chimaev.
Oh, okay. I mean, listen,
we haven't seen him fight. The hype took off and then kind of didn't go anywhere. So now we can make another big name. Let's see what Chimaev can do against Phil Haas. It's a big fight.
Yeah, it's a super big fight, man. And I think that, so Neil Magny's already saying, if Chimaev wants to get beat up, what's up? Come through. You can go get beat up. It's all good, man. But we just got to see, because there's all this hype on Chimaev, but he hasn't beat anybody except GM3, which was a big, big win. But that was also just a one-hitter quitter. We didn't get to see 3 rounds of anything. But, I mean, it's telling in and of itself, man. Nobody just one-hitter quitters GM3 like that. But I think that Phil Haas, man, just to answer that question on my opinion, man, I think Phil Haas could be 5 through 10. I don't know if he cracks that top 5, but I think he could be very comfortable at 5 through 10 and potentially maybe become like one of those gatekeepers, man. You know what I mean? That's like, you got to get through him if you want to get that belt. But I just think that you got to really put it together if you're him, man. I think he just needs more experience personally, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all of these guys, man. And I think that some of these dudes are going to make some real noise in the upcoming future, man. Like I said, 2 years is a long time. A lot of things could happen in 2 years. But all right, AJ, move on to the word on the street. I got a couple things to talk about. I got about 8 minutes on the clock left, man. Let's talk about some PFL action, man. PFL 3, the light heavyweights and heavyweights just did their thing, man. The 2020 PFL 155-pound champion, Kayla Harrison, she defeats Mariana Rodriguez via first-round TKO. But it was absolute seek and destroy, man. She is a gold medal Olympic judoka, man. She said she's like basically Ronda Rousey in the PFL. She just said, I'm going to put you to the ground. What was beautiful, dude, is she got Mariah, who's supposed to be super tough, right? You know, fighting multiple opponents in one night, real beast out of Brazil. She grabbed her in just a straight body lock and just took her to the ground. Just straight took her to the ground. That's it. Ground and pound. That was done. Easy 6 points for her in that PFL season that they're going on. But what was important to me, and this is what I wanted to get your opinion on, the 2-time judo Olympic gold medalist, she noted in her post-fight presser, this isn't a tournament, it's a coronation, and I'm the queen. From now on, I'm the baddest woman in the room and in any room. And literally drop the mic, like literal mic drop. My question is, she's a 155-pounder, man. How do you think she fares up if she she would never do this, because when you could win $1 million in the PFL, why would you go get chump change in the UFC? But if you're the baddest woman in the room, I think Amanda Nunes has something to say about that. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a bold claim when the lioness is still walking around, man. That's but it was crazy, like you said, Derek. 155. Yeah. Not many women are fighting in that class. I mean, it's nice to see that the PFL is, doing something, not making them literally only fight between 3-4 weight classes. What is it? But it's that's that'd be interesting. I would love to see Amanda Nunes at a 155. That'd be crazy. She'd be thick. She'd be powerful.
I agree. I would love to see Amanda Nunes say, all right, I'm the double champ. I'm going to let the rest of you guys have a chance in the UFC. I'm done with the UFC. I'm going to go over to the PFL, go into those tournaments, and I would love to see her compete in the PFL because, like I said, why would you ever risk $1 million payday that's not guaranteed, but it's like super, I mean, come on, you're the killer in PFL. Why would you risk that to go fight for literally just a tiny fraction of that in the UFC? I mean, for honor and respect is the only reason, but that's not what people do it for these days. So, there's that. But even a bigger crazy story that happened in the PFL, man. Renan Ferreira, man, he defeats Fabricio Verdum, legendary Fabricio Verdum, the first man to beat Fedor Emelianenko, man, via a TKO round 1 ground and pound to earn 6 points in his 2021 PFL debut. But that bout ended in controversy, AJ, because the replay clearly showed Ferreira tapping to an arm. It was a triangle, right? So a triangle choke from Verdum, where Verdum, he says that he was like, yeah, I felt him tap and I stopped. And because he stopped, he gave up the position. And then, Ferreira got on top of him, ground and pound, and it finished, right? And he did clearly tap. But it didn't really look like Verdum just kind of stopped, even though he said he did. Nonetheless, the point is this. He says, he was like, I know, and he knows that he tapped. And you got to live with that at the end of the day. This is annoying, but this is great because this is a league. You know what I mean? It's a season, so it's not like one loss kills you completely. But at the end of the day, man, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But damn, bro, really? Like, replay exists. We could see you. Like, what are we talking about here, man? Just give me your take. What do you think about the ghost taps, man? Is there no honor, no respect? But, like, can you go to bed, like, content at night knowing that you tapped, but you still got the win?
I mean, when a millie's on the line, Derek, and, like they say in love and war, all is fair. I say you if you're not cheating, you're not trying. There's all the good cliches to it, but at the end of the day, if the ref doesn't stop you, the fight hasn't ended. Or like if the lights aren't out and the ref isn't stopping you, well, you can still keep fighting. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit honor code. But like I said, how much does honor pay your bills?
Yeah, it doesn't whatsoever.
Does.
Yeah, exactly. And, I know Dominic Cruz is going to be very happy to see that Keith Peterson was reffing this fight. And Keith Peterson was in the wrong position to be able to see, probably reeking of cigarettes and booze, man. No, I'm just joking. Shout out to I think he is a really good ref, Keith Peterson, personally. I do think that he's a very no-nonsense man. They always talk about him like that. But, yeah, man, it was crazy just to see that, man. I feel bad for Verdum because it's like you're a legend. And when we talk about how all these former UFC champions are all losing and whatnot, it's like, you didn't really lose that fight, but you did. So neither here nor there, I guess. Bellator 258, man. We already talked about some pictures and whatnot, man. Anthony Rumble Johnson got the big win. Already talked about Sergio Pettis, big win. Very impressive tactician type of fight for Sergio Pettis. But what I want to talk about is Peter Queally. Do you know who Peter Queally is, AJ?
Peter Queally? No, I don't.
So Peter Queally, he's fighting out of SBG, Ireland, right? That's the same camp that Conor McGregor fights out of, right? There's another individual, too, who's a big name. I believe he's in the UFC, fighting out of that gym, right? He fought Patricky Pitbull, so not Fabricio Pitbull. I believe that's his name. Not the big Pitbull, right? Pitbull's
Little
brother.
Pitbull.
Yeah, Little Pitbull, right? Peter Queally, he wins via doctor stoppage, via cuts, right? In a fight that Patricky Pitbull was actually winning, man. He was tearing apart Queally's leg, but one thing happened where basically Queally got taken down, and from the bottom, right? The same thing Marina Rodriguez does, the same thing that I kind of wonder why more fighters don't do this, is immediately drop vicious, ferocious elbows, right? That's exactly what Peter Queally did. And what did he do? He opened up a really nasty cut on the top of Patricky's head that wouldn't stop bleeding, and since it wouldn't stop bleeding, after, if you can't get control of the cut by the time your fighter needs to re-enter the ring for the round, right? That's it. Doctor stops it because you couldn't get control of it. I mean, that's your fault. That's your corner's fault, right? Now, but Peter Queally wins the fight. That it's like tough because it's like, yeah, you won on cuts, but like you were losing the fight, but you technically still won. And he goes out to say, oh yeah, we got this little rivalry between Pitbull brothers and SBG. Well, I want to fight Big Pitbull next. What's up? Let's settle this. Now Big Pitbull's like, all right, bro. Like he was in the corner. Obviously he was like, this is bullshit. You shouldn't have stopped it. But he's like, you want to fight me, bro? Okay, I got you. Say less. Cause Big Pitbull handles business, man. My question is, how do you feel about that, man? How do you feel about, is that a win? I mean, a win is a win, but is that a win?
I don't think it's a win you could brag about, but it's definitely a win. Like if you're all in the bar talking shit and you're like, yo, I beat your ass. He's like, did you? We can go at it again, brother. You did not beat my ass. Yeah. The doctor came in and stopped it. Like we were there. We were down to scrap. So yeah, you can't brag about it, but it's a win at the end of the day. It's 6 points. Yeah. Oh no, it's not. This is Bellator. Excuse me. This is not 6 points.
Yeah, this is a Bellator right here, but this is big, man. This is a big win, and at the end of the day, having a Pitbull brother on your hit list is huge. But the thing is, I think that a lot of people are calling for it too, man. You got to give him a rematch or something, dude. You can't just be like, yeah, now I'm gonna beat the big brother. Like it's like, hold on, you didn't even really beat me. I don't know. That's neither here nor there, man. But that's basically what I got for the UFC 258, man. I hope Conor McGregor somehow, some way gets involved in this. And then they, I would love to see a Conor McGregor versus a big Pitbull, man. That would be an interesting fight over there at 45 pounds, 55 pounds, something like that. Nonetheless, last thing that I got for you, AJ, is we talked about it earlier. 5 former UFC champions have gone 5-7-1 in other promotions since leaving the UFC. Now, that stat that I showed earlier, that's only talking about 2021. So it's a very, cherry-picked stat, right? Now, Fabricio Verdum, since leaving the UFC, 0-1. Anthony Pettis, since leaving the UFC, 0-1. Demetrius Johnson, since leaving the UFC, 3-1. Eddie Alvarez, 1-1. And Lyoto Machida, 2-3, man. I just give me in this last minute, man. What does this mean? We're talking about there's killers in other promotions, man. But what does this mean? The only one that's really different is Eddie Alvarez and Demetrius Johnson because they're literally competing under different rule set. But outside of that, what does this mean for former UFC champions? Like, I feel like being a former UFC champion, you lose a little steam with that title now that you're losing like this. So what do you think?
It's definitely having the rest of the ground catch up. I mean, it's always good when you can say like, yeah, I want state back in, 19, whatever. But if you're still getting your ass beat out in the field, yeah, it's a little rough to be claiming that. So it just loses a little bit of steam for the UFC. And it's sad to see, the old greats, man, Fabricio Verdum, he's been fighting for how long, Demetrius Johnson, some of these old amazing greats that you think back in the day, all these amazing memories, but they're still out there losing. It's rough to see, man. But it's good for the rest of the MMA community to see catching up. Like people are catching up. People are out there fighting, man, and the rest of the water's getting deep.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And at the end of the day, like, listen, Father Time is undefeated. Am I right? You know what I mean? You know how it goes down over here, man. You can't fight forever. You're going to lose eventually. That is just a part of the game. Like, what was it? Stipe Miocic or whoever it was, Ben Askren, he was like, you fight for long enough, man, shit happens. It just happens, man. But listen, folks, that's all the time we got for you. That was assessing the damage. We did some matchmaking to hit the word on the street. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, man. My mom included. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Appreciate you. Love you. All that good stuff. AJ, this is a pleasure, honor breaking down fights with you again. But folks, don't forget, man, we got a big one ahead of us. UFC 262 is next, man. We got Charlie Olives, man. We got Charles Oliveira facing off against Michael Chandler, man. We don't know why this is going to be the light heavyweight championship of the world, but it is going to be. And at the end of the day, AJ, I just want to make this clear. Dustin Poirier, he is the people's champion. He is my undisputed champion of the lightweight division. So whoever wins this, they need to fight Dustin Poirier next, given Dustin Poirier gets the win against Conor McGregor. Because if he doesn't, I don't know. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough one. But nonetheless, you got anything else before we get out of here, AJ?
Nah, my man. Shout out moms everywhere. Shout out my mom. Happy Mother's Day. All your moms out there, man. I love it. Yeah.
All right, perfect, folks. So catch us on Friday. Catch us on Wednesday. You know, we got a betting show on Wednesday. We got the, preview show on Friday. Drop a like, subscribe, hit the yellow notification bell, all the good stuff. Until next time, folks.